Welcome to Strat-O-Matic University. This is Baseball 105, game rules for the basic version of the game, and we are going to cover rules that we have not covered during the first 4 videos of this series, familiarizing yourself with the game parts. And there are a few that we still need to cover, so let us get right to them. First is going to be on page 2 of your rule book, and that is going to be runner advancement on hits. Stands to reason. If you hit a single, runners advance 1 base. If you hit a double, runners advance 2 bases. If you hit a triple, runners advance 3 bases. If you hit a home run, you clear the bases. There are some exceptions on the cards. If you have a single with a single asterisk behind it, that means it is a single and they can only advance 1 base. If you have a single with 2 asterisks, then you can then all the runners will advance 2 bases. A double with 2 asterisks, they're going to advance 2 bases. If you have just a single reading like this on 210 with no asterisks behind it, you may choose to have the base runner advance an extra base. So he's on, Oliva is on first, Rod Carew hits a single, Oliva is on second, his running rating is 1-16. You decide to go, that is in the safe range, he just advanced to third base. If it was 17 or higher outside of that range, he would be out going to third. That is the asterisk. That's all that is there for runner advancement on hits. One more thing. If there were 2 outs, runner advancement on hits with 2 outs. Say the same situation. The single by Rod Carew. 1-16 Oliva, that becomes a 1-18. You add 2 with 2 outs. So if there's 2 outs and you want to advance that runner now, that 18 is going to be safe at third. So anytime there are 2 outs and you decide to try to advance the base runner, add 2 to the safe run rating. Next we are going to cover lining out into as many outs as possible, which is kind of self-explanatory. You're going to see this sometimes. Line out to first base into as many outs as possible. If there are runners on base, crazy stuff happens. You get everybody out up to the third out. If there's 2 outs, of course, then that's the third out. If there's 1 out, liner to first, and then he steps on first to tag the guy that was on first, or wherever he is. That's what this is. It doesn't happen often, but it is, and to get this roll when there are 2 or 3 guys on loaded bases, it happens a triple play. They've worked that into the cards. Stealing and holding base runners. Now we've shown you how to steal. Stealing second base, the D rating would allow Tony Oliva to steal safely on a roll of 1-9, out from 10-20. Now, a defensive team, the team in the field, can choose to hold a base runner. And here is catcher ratings, the modification you make to the safe range. If your catcher is rated defensively as a 1, you subtract 4. So now that is a safe range of 1-5 for Tony Oliva. If the catcher is rated 2, you deduct 3 from that range. Now he's a 1-6 if he's running against a rated 2 catcher. If the catcher defensively is rated at a 3, you deduct 2. I want to find a catcher for you such as that. His catcher rating is 3. You would reduce the safe range of 1-9 by a total of 2, so now it's 1-7. In catchers rated 4 or 5, you subtract 1. That is only if you are going to hold the base runner. These deductions apply only to those with steal ratings of AA or less. AAA base stealers, such as Rickey Henderson in 1980, for example. He is rated AAA. You do not take any deductions if he is being held. And that is all for stealing and holding base runners. The last thing we want to cover is pitchers. We're now on page 3, section 10. Player usage, injuries, and rest. For batters, you can read it, but we'll read it together. For most realistic results, limit batters to their actual at-bats. Batters should only be used at the fielding positions listed on their cards. So Tony Oliva, you're not going to use him at shortstop. You could. He didn't play shortstop. You're going to use someone who's rated at shortstop in that position. A manager is not permitted to pinch hit for, pinch run for, or otherwise voluntarily remove the last player on his team eligible to play a position. So if your last shortstop is at the bat and it's the bottom of the ninth and it's the bottom of the eighth and 2 outs, and you're down 3 runs and you have 2 guys on, and you've got Bo Jackson for whatever reason sitting on the bench, you cannot take that last shortstop out. You have to have someone to fill that position. You must leave him in the game. However, if injuries temporarily eliminate all eligible players for a specific position, fill the position with the most logical remaining player, like someone who plays third or second and is not rated for shortstop. In most instances, it is advisable to rate the player a 5 defensively in this unfamiliar position. Totally up to you. If you have no one left that can play center field and you've got a right fielder rated at a 3, you can rate him a 4. You use your sense in this. If in the previous example of shortstop, you have a third baseman and a second baseman, and they're rated at a 3, they're only moving 1 position over. Rate them in a 4. You don't have to go all the way to a 5. It does say a 5 in the rules, but fill the position with the most logical remaining player, and use your head, however you wish to do it. For pitchers, the most realistic result, limit pitchers to their actual innings pitched. Starting pitchers should not be used as relievers. Relief pitchers should not be used as starters, unless the pitcher has listings for both on their card. If the pitcher's name on the roster sheet, and season sets will come with a roster sheet, is followed by an asterisk, then he can start the game with only 3 games of rest between starts. Pitchers with no asterisks need 4 games of rest. Any pitcher may pitch until his manager chooses to remove him from the game. So you could start Tom Hall in the first inning, and you could conceivably bring in Jim Cott to relieve in the second and let him go the rest of the game. You can do whatever you want to. It is completely up to you how you run the game, but you do have the rules at your disposal, so you have an idea of the spirit in which the game is intended to play. And this video series has been to introduce you to that spirit, to the game mechanics. So hopefully you'll get some really good enjoyment from replaying some of your favorite games, your favorite teams, replaying some of your favorite seasons, some good what-if scenarios. It's a fantastic game, and it's just for that. It scratches that itch. This concludes our series for the basic version of the game. We'll have future videos, redone videos for Advanced and SAD-V, or Super Advanced. But I'd like to thank you very much for attending Baseball 105, Game Rules Basic with Strat-O-Matic University. This is Tabletop Sports Delaware, and thank you very much for watching. Keep on rolling.